I mean, not necessarily.
That's fair. There are movies where he doesn't die, but in a general sense, since Lord of the Rings, that's been his thing.
Oh, all right. What's going on, good people of the internet? It is time for OnComicsGrounds.com's flagship podcast, panel to panel, where a bunch of folks shoot the breeze and talk about comic books and such. We are here live for issue 15 of this amazing podcast. We sit down and talk about all the comic book and nerdy things that have been going on in the realm of which we live. My name is James Portis. I am here with my co-host Travis Tucker. How you doing today?
Pretty well, man. Pretty well. Work wasn't so bad, and I'm relaxing. I got some good energy going. I'm pretty excited.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Our other co-host Mary was not able to join us this evening, but she will be back. Rest assured, and we are going to dig into all of this amazing news that came out from D23. Like every day, it's just been bam, bam, and like they keep hitting you, and it's excessive but awesome at the same time. So we are just gonna go ahead and get into it. But before we do, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at PTP_podcast. And don't forget to follow the website On Comics Ground on Twitter and Instagram at On Comics Ground. And check out our website OnComicsGround.com, where we have all of our reviews and op-eds about all the amazing things in comic books and nerd culture. Okay, cool. So, the first thing up on the agenda that we're going to knock out real quick is the fact that in all the Disney Plus and Disney news that was announced, one of the shows that's coming to Disney Plus is the show called The World According to Jeff Goldblum. And I'm trying to wrap my head around this because apparently it's going to be a docuseries that sees the actor examining such topics as tattoos, ice cream, and sneakers. So, I guess this is just going to be an excuse for Jeff Goldblum to go around with a GoPro, it seems like.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
And I mean,
it's.
I don't know.
I watched the trailer and it's hard to figure out up or down ways what's going on with that show. To be honest with you, it feels like I don't even know what it feels like. This is just something I've never even heard of. Like a whole show dedicated to a dude walking around and telling you what he thinks about everything. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's not like Morgan Freeman couldn't do it, but I don't know. It just seems random. There's the Twitter feeds who are like, yeah, Jeff Goldblum is sexy. We want to have a show about him, but it's also did we really need Jeff Goldblum to have a Disney Plus show? Who's gonna go out of their way just to get Disney Plus for Jeff Goldblum? You know?
It's mom service.
It's mom service.
It's mom service.
Oh God.
I mean, what else? There's nothing like grown folks that's going to be on Disney Plus except for the Marvel shows and the occasional, and Star Wars and the occasional action-packed Disney movie. So I'm thinking that might be what they're trying to get at with this. Maybe, but that's all pure speculation.
I mean, there's the whole thing of National Geographic, because it's owned by Disney, will also be bundled with Disney Plus, and I'm like, okay, this entire idea of him getting his own show just to go around and do random crap just seems very odd. But you do make a valid point that it does seem like mom service.
Yeah, it seems odd to us because we're not pretty enough to be paid for that. Jeff Goldblum is
when he was younger, had the black hair, he was very but now for a lot of people he's risen to daddy status, and it's just all right, that's okay, that's a thing I don't understand.
Yep.
From that weird thing, we're gonna go into something. Okay, so I don't know if you watched this trailer, but they had a trailer for this new Christmas movie that's coming to Disney Plus called Noel, which apparently it's this thing where Anna Kendrick plays the daughter of Santa Claus, and Santa Claus is retiring, so Bill Hader, her brother, has to take over as Santa Claus, but he sucks at it. So he runs away a week before Christmas, and everyone's freaking out, so she has to go on an adventure to get him back. And I'm just... honestly, at first when I saw the announcement and like the poster, I was like, I don't know about this one, Chief. But then you sit there and watch the trailer, you're like, okay, this is kind of funny. Like, it's not something you expect to exist, but then it just kind of is there and it's funny, and you're like, okay, like it's not horrible.
Yeah, and I mean, like, Anna Kendrick, I'm pretty familiar with as far as, like, kids' movies and stuff are concerned, but Bill Hader is completely new to me on this landscape, so I'm excited, but also kind of worried at the same time, if that makes any sense.
Why do you say that?
Well, a lot of the stuff I've seen Bill in is not for children, so I'm wondering if he's going to be that element. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
But I think the last thing I saw him in was Sausage Party, and Lord knows that's not a kid's movie.
That is not a kid's movie, dear Lord. I mean, like, he definitely has shown in the past that he can do things that are more kid-friendly. So the idea of him, like, being a failed Santa Claus sounds kind of funny. Like, at the end of the trailer, he's in, like, a yoga studio teaching yoga, but then Anna Kendrick finds him and is like, what are you doing? How did you get here? Like, and then, like, she blows out the candle, and he's just like, you ruined the feng shui. So there's possibility that this might not be horrible, but like it definitely feels like somewhat more of adult fodder, where it's like, hey, here's a Christmas movie. Like, we paid some people to do a Christmas movie. Like, okay.
All right, cool.
That's pretty much how I feel about that one. Like, that's kind of like the last for me. The other cool thing was that we got the trailer for Lady and the Tramp, and the dogs for Lady and the Tramp were on the red carpet at D23, which was freaking adorable. And this movie, it's exclusive to Disney Plus. There have been people freaking out about it, like going, we're tired of live action remakes, and I'm just like, who really cares? Like, if Disney wants to make money, can we just let them and be done with it?
Yeah, I feel the same way, honestly. It's I think they've made it pretty obvious that they're going to redo all of their classics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when it comes to Disney, if we've learned nothing, is that they cannot be stopped.
Yeah, like, we can try as we might, but like, us messing with them isn't really going to fix it.
Yeah, we can complain until the cows come home, but they're going to make it, and we're going to pay them to watch it. That's kind of the sad part of it, in my opinion. But
yeah.
But I mean, at least we get a Lady and the Tramp remake,
and at least they're not whoring it out on like in movie theaters. They're flat out just like, okay, so this probably isn't gonna work out, so we'll just put it out on Disney Plus, and like, we'll just let the people who like dogs watch it there. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. And I mean, Tessa Thompson and Justin Theroux from Saturday Night Live are gonna be on it, and he just guest starred on Saturday Night Live. He's done a million and other things, but like they're gonna be like the two main characters, which is fine. Like, it will be serviceable. Anyone who enjoys the original will enjoy it, but it's definitely gonna have that like fake mouth moving vibe that like real animals would, I guess.
Yeah, like Lion King did.
I still need to go see that.
It was. It's hard to explain. It's hard to fill those kind of shoes. You know what I mean? It's enjoyable for the nostalgia, but then when you sit there and compare them like bones to bones, it's not the same.
All right. I guess that's one way to look at it. All right. And then from there, we also, like, Travis, this one's more for me, but, like, I don't know if you were a Disney Channel kid, but they announced that Lizzie McGuire is getting a sequel series, and, like, my child heart just kind of started skipping, like, yay.
Yeah, I feel like a really stereotypical dumbass dude when I'm like, yeah, I had a crush on Lizzie McGuire back in the day, but that was as far as it went. I didn't watch the show.
I mean, like,
my sister did.
I'm just hyped like between like I got the My Boy Meets World sequel for a little bit with Girl Meets World. Like Raven's Home is still on the air, which I'm happy about, and now we're getting like this Lizzie McGuire sequel that's been rumored for years, and I just am just super excited about the idea of revisiting this property. But it also goes in the idea of like everyone's tired of remakes and sequels, and I'm just like, who cares? Like.
Some of the sequels are good.
Yeah, like Girl Meets World was actually very enjoyable. Like I've only seen a couple of episodes of Raven's Home, but like the only flaw of it is Orlando Brown is a crackhead now, so they couldn't get him back to be on the show. So
right,
like it's what it is.
I'm a huge fan of Cobra Kai. Oh man,
that is something I do need to watch.
I gotta warn you, it's corny. But they turned Ralph Macchio into the villain, so it's so good. It's so good.
What do you mean the show's corny, though?
It's got the same 80s cheese that the original Karate Kid did.
Oh, that's not horrible, I guess.
No, corny's not always bad. It's just, that super campy is what I should say. Campy.
Oh, okay, that's fair. So, like, I guess the idea of sequels isn't the worst thing in the world, but, like, if you don't do them justice, it could be a bad thing. So hopefully Lizzie McGuire ends up being this thing that we can come back to, like Lizzie and Gordo and like all of them, like come back together and make a really good show. I'm hoping so at least. But that's for me. Obviously, you haven't seen it, so I won't harp on it for too long. And also, one more nerdy thing. High School Musical, the series, is a thing. Because, okay, don't you sigh at me, damn it. This was my generation.
Yeah, no, I was also in high school during High School Musical, and do you know how many, like... all right, as a light-skinned Afro black man, do you know how many Corbin Blue jokes I had to deal with? It was relentless. But I got no beef on it other than that.
I mean, like I'm just the premise in the trailer is kind of funny. I like that the idea of the school in like where I forget wherever it was, like Albuquerque or wherever the thing took place at. The school where High School Musical was filmed had never done a full production of High School Musical, so this lady comes in and wants to do one. So like this kid who broke up with his girlfriend who wants a role as Gabriella, so he fights his way to get to get the role as Troy so he can win her back, and it's like this is so stupid and corny and I love it, and I'm just like, ugh, like I'm one of those guys that loves teen dramas and shit, so the idea of like them taking one of my favorite like movies and turning it into like this, I'm like, yes.
All right.
I mean, like, High School Musical wasn't even that bad, though. Like, yeah, you had to deal with the Corbin Blue jokes, but, like, the property itself wasn't horrible.
Well, no, it wasn't horrible. I think, like I said, my beef with it was I couldn't rock an afro without having to deal with that.
Did everyone want you to sing Push It to the Limit?
Yes! Yes!
Did everyone want you to jump rope, Travis?
Yo, the heat didn't come off of me until another black kid from school did a High School Musical thing for the talent show, and then everyone left me alone after that.
That's right. Oh, Jesus, that is hilarious. I mean, like, the idea of, like, people asking you to, like jump rope and shit as Corbin Blue sounds freaking hilarious.
Oh, my God. I couldn't. It was one of those things that I was an edgy metalhead kid, so it was like the Lord's insults.
Okay, so that's like the corny James is gonna nerd out for a minute news. But so we're gonna go into the Star Wars news of what's been going on that was announced for Disney Plus, and the thing that had everyone crapping their pants was that the Mandalorian trailer dropped, and oh my God.
Oh, so good.
My heart.
So good.
Like, the freaking French, like, Inquisition type of, like, heads on pikes for the Stormtrooper helmets. Like, dudes walking through and, like, the gunfighting going on. Like, oh, my heart.
Yeah. I love the flash forwards of all the different people in Carbonite. That was like, whoo, oh, Boba's busy.
Well, like, people were saying, like, Boba Fett's gonna be in the show, and I'm like, it's not Boba Fett, y'all. Like, this is a new cat. Like, let's enjoy a new thing. Like, I'm excited for this.
I mean, I would love if it's a different Mandalorian. Don't get me wrong. It's just I'm familiar with Boba and Django's definitely dead.
Yeah. Sam Jackson chopped off that boy head.
Yeah.
So like I'm hoping that it's a new, like, everyone pretty much confirmed that it is a new Mandalorian. So the idea of a new property makes me excited, to be honest.
Yeah, that for sure.
Like, just that trailer alone, I'm just like, oh yes, like, just everything about it just had me so on top of the world.
Yeah, I'm excited. Honestly, like I want to see the legendary. I think everyone wants to see the Mandalorian armor versus the lightsaber battle. Like it's they have to do it now. That we have the technology. They have to do it.
I mean, at some point they'll probably just bring in like some random person with a lightsaber that like stole it off of a dead Jedi or something, and then we'll just see it happen, and it'll be simple as that.
Right.
Because like, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think I speak for everybody when I say no Sarlacc pits, please, Disney.
I mean, as many Sarlacc pits as Boba had to deal with, like in the original, like in the EU, I feel like one more wouldn't hurt.
I mean, that's fair. As long as this guy doesn't fall into the same one twice, like Boba.
I mean, like, and the thing is, I enjoy the idea of a show like this, or I even, like, will defend Solo, because I like these more not needing of Jedi stories in the Star Wars universe, where, like, it's gritty, there's gunplay, there's lasers, it feels like the Wild West sometimes. Like, I dig that. So the idea of seeing the more, like, the corrupt side of the galaxy sounds so interesting, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, the grim underworld, the Mos Eisleys of the universe. That's going to be nice.
Yes, because, like, especially recently when I've been reading the Thrawn trilogy, because the third book finally just came out by Timothy Zahn. Like, you read this and you see the more imperial, militaristic side of things that go on, and you're like, yes, this is awesome, I want more of this. Or, like, you watch Solo and you see, like, people smuggling and pirates and all this cool stuff. It's like, you don't need lightsabers in this shit. Like, this universe can exist without Jedi and the Force and stuff like that. We can enjoy this shit, and I love it. Like, now don't get me wrong, the other big thing that was announced at D23 is involving lightsabers and the Force, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay.
This is the one I want to see now.
so like, Amy Pascal is wrapping up the show, and like, is that right? Am I getting the right person? Right. No, that is the wrong person. I'm horrible. Star Wars head. Like, I said Amy Pascal, that's not the right person. Oh wow, this is horrible radio. Head executive. Derp. Kathleen Kennedy. I'm horribly sorry. That's Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen Kennedy is wrapping up the presentation of, like, she showed the entire length, because Amy Pascal's a chick from Sony. But Kathleen Kennedy's wrapping up the show, and it's like showing what's been going on, and they do a whole full timeline spread, and she says, like, she pulls the grandpa from Jackie Chan Adventures, one more thing, and you're like, okay. And like, you just see a picture of Obi-Wan from episode 3 pop on the screen, and Ewan McGregor walks out and, like, has the microphone in his hand, and he walks up to her and goes, I want you to ask me the question that everyone's been asking me all these times. I want you to ask me, am I going to play Obi-Wan again? And she just goes, are you going to play Obi-Wan again? And he just goes, yes. And you feel that sigh of relief come over you.
The mantle has been restored.
like you feel that calmness of the hello there. Like, it just, the idea of Obi-Wan coming back. Now, granted, I talked about it before last week on the show, where When Kate Joel was here, we were like, okay, cool. Obi-Wan's here. Everyone can stop bitching now. But no, like, the idea that everyone can stop bitching now is very exciting. The idea that we get to see what goes on, and the fact that on the big old timeline they showed that Kenobi as a Disney Plus show will take place around the same time as Solo. So there's the possibility that Crimson Dawn could be involved in the Obi-Wan show, and you're just like, ah! Like, you just get excited because you're just like, yes! More Crimson Dawn! Because Solo was amazing!
Right. Solo was really good. I don't understand how that got a bad rap.
I think it's because of, like, Ron Howard having to come in and change a bunch of crap, and then all the random press about, like, Lando possibly being pansexual at everyone up in arms and junk.
I mean, they weren't very blunt about that, and in Star Wars, that means a lot of different things, I guess. I don't know why people care about that stuff so much.
Yeah, people are overly sensitive and crap, always trying to, like, say diversity can't happen, but it's whatever.
But they'll watch James T. Kirk lay with an alien, and it's totally cool.
I guess. It don't make no dang sense. But, like, because apparently that's still straight. But I don't know. People are freaking weird.
Yo.
I mean, like, the idea of Obi-Wan as a property still existing. Like, how do you feel about this? Like, as someone who's, like one of those more casual Star Wars fans, how do you feel about Obi-Wan coming back to the spotlight like this?
I'm pretty excited. I do admit I'm a bit I tried to not be a casual, but ended up getting drowned in the tide of Star Wars lore.
Fair enough.
But it's pretty exciting to see Ewan McGregor take up Obi-Wan once more, because he voiced him in all the animated stuff, didn't he?
No, he did not. Like there was a couple times I think he did, but Aaron Taylor Johnson's been the one that's been voicing him on, like, Clone Wars and stuff like that this entire time.
Okay, because I remember watching him when I was still a kid. It was not Toonami, but it was right after the Clone Wars, not the CGI Clone Wars, the regular drawn animation Clone Wars.
The Genndy Tartakovsky one.
Yeah, when they first introduced Ventress.
Yep.
I was about that. Oh, so if it's anything on that quality, I'm here for this.
I'm hoping. Like, and the thing is, Clone Wars is still a good show when it's in the CGI one. It's one of the best acclaimed Star Wars properties there is.
Okay, and that's the one with Ahsoka, right?
Yeah, like that entire show, like, the hype around it is what gave it the ability to have another season coming up in February, which they announced at D23. Like, even when before February comes, the hope is that they put the entire show on in November. That way, everyone can binge before it, like, comes on in February. And, like, you need to watch that, because that is still, like, when Disney bought Star Wars, they were like, okay, cool, we're cutting everything else out except for Clone Wars in the movies. Like, everything else goes, but this thing that everyone loves and the movies.
Oh, see, I think that's what killed it, because I remember I was reading the comics when that happened, and I was like, no!
I mean, the Dark Horse comics were just, like, so much. And, I mean, I was a diehard EU fan because of things like Mara Jade, like Luke Skywalker's wife, and the original kids that Han and Leia had before this new trilogy. Like, and then having twins that were Force sensitive was super cool. So, it definitely hurt, and for a long time I had given up on Star Wars. But the recent comics brought me back, so it's, yeah.
Okay.
And, like, if you want to, like, really get into current Star Wars, Clone Wars is probably your best option. Like, this isn't just for Travis, this is for anybody. Clone Wars is probably your best option once November comes. And Thrawn, the first novel by Timothy Zahn, is a really easy read because it's very political. It's not political like the new classification of political, like political warfare type of things, where it's like you battling in the system and growing in the ranks and stuff like that. And, like, there's all kinds of Imperial things going on, and Thrawn's trying to grow in the ranks so he can be the most powerful, like, admiral. It's so amazing. So, like, that right there is an easy entryway back in for anyone who is sad about the EU. And then just Clone Wars in general has so much rich lore that you're just like, oh... So like that is definitely a recommendation for anybody who is a big fan of Star Wars who wants to like get back in this before stuff starts popping out. Like Mandalorian's gonna just be a ton of fun. Clone Wars season like 7 is gonna just boom. Like it's just gonna dive right in, and everyone who tries to jump in, then it's gonna be like, what's going on? Like you got a long way to go. So definitely check that out. And then the big thing that was a big talk was episode 9. Not only had a behind closed doors trailer, we got the first poster that showed Emperor Palpatine in the background, and then Rey and Kylo duking it out, and everyone's clowning on the poster because apparently the picture of the Emperor was taken from somewhere else, or like they're trying to compare it to other things, and I'm just like, stop. Who cares? Maybe Ian McDermott didn't want to put on the makeup for a picture. Like, leave him alone.
Right.
And I mean, the idea of apparently in the closed doors trailer that all the rumors are circulating that apparently Rey turns to the dark side, and I'm just like, what now?
Well, I'm excited for that because the new trilogy has been full of a lot of different like homages to the not only the original trilogy but the 3 prequels. And I think this like thematically feels like the same hero's journey type of stuff that Luke did towards the end.
That's fair.
Like he showed up and he's doing Jedi mind tricks. He's senselessly killing people. He just straight up carved up an entire bar to save Han Solo. That's not very Jedi-like, but the Jedi are dead, so who knows? I'm kind of hoping that Rey turns into like a gray Jedi.
That would be kind of cool. Well, like not being on one side or the other, being very neutral would be a really good idea for her.
It would be a really, really nice twist on the thing, you know what I mean? Realizing that there has to be a balance instead of just this whole clear-cut good, clear-cut evil, because I mean, if they're going to right any wrongs of The Last Jedi, it should be the whole notion that the Jedi were ultimately good, in my opinion.
That's fair. I mean, hopefully, like, see, my big theory was just the idea that this is probably just some, like, fever dream or something like that, but the idea that possibly Rey does turn to the dark side to, like, possibly defeat whatever darkness there is might be kind of cool, or if she just falls and like Poe and Finn have to save her, that would be cool too. I'm just excited Billy D's back. Like, that's what I'm excited. Like, as hyped as I am to see the conclusion of this, the minute the first trailer dropped and Billy D was there, I felt like Sherman Clump's mama and Nutty Professor. Billy D.
Sherman.
I'm like, Billy D.
Hercules.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Oh my god. Like, I'm just, like, I'm excited for what Star Wars Episode 9 is going to be, but I'm at a point where I'm just like, until I see more stuff or until the movie drops, like, little hints here and there of things, and all the toxicity that's in the Star Wars community just has me like, I'm gonna stay over here, and then when the movie comes out, I'll come back in. But until then, I'm gonna read my novels and not get involved.
I don't know. I have a problem with the fandom not letting creators create.
Yeah. Now, what do you mean by that in terms, like, for the folks at home? Like, what do you mean in the context of the current Star Wars, like, issues and whatnot?
It's just anytime someone tries to do something new or revolutionary, and I'll date it back to an old one, so I can't be just smited by the internet. But when the internet again destroyed the idea of Darth Jar Jar, I was way about that, because in episode 1, it was so obvious that that's what Lucas was trying to do, and like all the backlash of Jar Jar just stopped it.
I don't know about that. Like, I don't think Lucas was trying to make Jar Jar a bad guy.
Well, think about it. Like, he talked about the prequels were going to be kind of mirror reflections of the original trilogy. And when you think about Yoda, Yoda was a blundering old buffoon who was beating Luke with his cane. And then suddenly he figured out he's a Force user and he's the greatest master who's ever lived. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Jar Jar was a perfect analog for a dark side version of that. And considering the whole, give up democracy notion, I think he tried to slip that in there, but it never really ended up as a hard part of the canon.
It's an interesting theory. I just like I've had to put up with for over so many years of people just hating on Jar Jar Binks because they thought he was annoying, but like he wasn't even that bad, and it grew his reputation to the point that his actor was tormented for so many years. But then we got to a point this year at D23 where dude got a standing ovation for actually being revolutionary for CGI technology. So like, thank God the fandom changed enough to do right by him. But like the fact that everyone hated this guy so much, like it bothers me.
Yeah, but that's what I mean when creators can't create. Because they may have had ideas with Jar Jar, like Darth Jar Jar. I can only speculate because it's not canon at all.
It's not canon.
So, but I mean, what if there was something like that? And I feel like that's what Rian Johnson did with The Force Awakens. And I'm not sure if Disney even cares to fix it anymore.
Yeah, they're probably just like, yeah, come in here and fix it like somebody else can do it. But then again, they're giving him his own trilogy still, so it's possible. I don't know. I'm hoping that they actually let him create this time instead of giving it to whatever fandom happens to do.
Yeah.
That's my big hope. Okay, so from there, we'll get into the main Marvel news that was like going on. So there's a lot of like small itty bitty stuff, but also it leads into bigger topics. So what the first bigger thing that everyone was freaking out about was that 3 new TV shows were announced for Disney Plus, and everybody and their mama was losing their shit. So not only did we get the option of a Moon Knight show, which everybody who had been crying out in pain for so many years to Netflix, like, give us a Moon Knight show, they finally get their wish, and it's finally coming. So everyone can rest. All we know is that it's coming, and there's a logo, and that's it, which is kind of tragic, but how do you feel about this, Travis?
I'm kind of excited just because he's a wacko.
All right.
I like reading Moon Knight. I can never get a beat on him, and he's so wild by nature. And I feel like it's Batman, but they let him just be the psychopath we all know he is.
Yeah,
if
that's
that
true.
makes any sense. I think where I'm torn on this is where Disney is always saying, well, we want to do family-friendly stuff, and Moon Knight cuts off people's faces.
Yeah, like Moon Knight has multiple personality disorder at some points and schizophrenia, and he does all this stuff. So the idea of the stuff that he does, like there's literally a run of the book where he is struggling with having like imaginary Wolverine, imaginary Spider-Man, and imaginary Captain America being his like conscience. So having all 3 of those polar opposites in his head, it was like driving him insane. So the idea of trying to do a TV show based on this character who worships a moon god has me just like, I don't know about this one, Chief. Like, I want this to be a good show, but in the same vein of, like, how people are worried about Deadpool, which I don't really care. Like, I'm worried in the angle of, like, hey, let's not neuter Moon Knight, or at least let's do it respectfully just in case a kid tries to watch this, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy for Disney to try to walk that line. That's for sure.
I mean, this could probably be their like first test of it to see if people can have confidence in them for Deadpool in the future, which could be a cool thing.
Right. because Deadpool has pretty much set the bar for what it has to be for the fans to not wig out.
It has. And then you have the other announcement of She-Hulk, which, oh my lord. Okay. People, we need to have a conversation. So, all weekend, through Twitter and Instagram, I have been seeing that people, like idiot people, and I don't even want to call you idiots, but you're being idiots, let's say that, are going out and saying, why is Marvel trying to make everything women? Why are you doing this? She-Hulk is so stupid of a name. Why can't you just make something Hulk? Okay, first of all, and then someone tried to say that She-Hulk spits on Stan Lee's grave of making a female version of Hulk. Okay, first of all, no.
People said that?
Yes.
People said this?
Yes.
Stuff? Oh my god.
Okay, so not only was She-Hulk created by Stan Lee because she's Bruce Banner's freaking cousin, but there's also a red She-Hulk, which is just Betty, Bruce Banner's girlfriend. There's also, an alien She-Hulk that hangs around on Earth for a while. This isn't the first time a woman's been green, fellas. Let's not act like this is something new. She's been in comics for years. This isn't...
Yeah!
I don't know what gave you this idea to assume that we're just creating new female versions of characters just to annoy you and, ruin lives.
Bro, and what blows me away is that people have the, how do I say this, the unmitigated gall to say that it's some kind of weird political move. She's been around since 1980, y'all.
Yeah.
She's older than some of the people saying this is a political statement. So I'm not understanding. This just feels like casual dribble.
I don't. Are you so now? Granted, if it weren't the situation of the Hulk rights are owned by Universal still, okay, you can be semi upset about that. So that's why we can't get a new Hulk movie. But at the same time, why are you bagging on the idea of a show which would be super awesome Hulk action mixed with Law and Order? That sounds amazing.
Bro, just slap Dick Wolf's name on it and we're good. Right,
let's go. And everyone's trying to fan cast Rosario Dawson as She-Hulk already, and everyone's doing fan cast it. Rosario Dawson already said she she digs the idea. And I'm just woman, you're already a Marvel character. Stop it.
Right.
Stop trying to cross lines. We need new people in here. Now, some people were trying to say that Rosa from Brooklyn Nine-Nine could be She-Hulk, and I was ooh, that's not a bad idea.
She could. Oh, man, that's actually really a good choice. Huh.
I just,
didn't even...
people. And then go ahead.
I'm beside myself that people are trying to say it's a weird political movement. Why did you have to name her She-Hulk? Her name was already She-Hulk. What do you want?
Is it that big of an idea to wrap your brain around? I mean, and then the other big announcement that had most people excited, I haven't seen a lot of hate against this, was that I've seen, was that Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, is getting her own Disney Plus live action TV show, and I'm excited. Don't get me wrong. I am very excited for the idea of Ms. Marvel finally getting her own TV show. Hopefully, Brie Larson can find it in her schedule to make a cameo. Because the whole idea is that Kamala idolizes her favorite heroes and whatnot. But Y'all better make sure this show has a good budget because that Kamala Khan's powers are stretch based, which means she's Mr. Fantastic on steroids. So like she can turn into a giant, like Giant Man. She can stretch herself like Mr. Fantastic. She can do whatever the hell she wants. She can shrink. There's all these things she can do. So your budget better be on point.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think about the idea of a Miss Marvel TV show, for the young girls that have been loving her ever since her creation?
I think it's not only a good move for like the young women who need like representation, but also the people of color who need representation.
Ooh, that's a good point. Because one of the bigger points with Ms. Marvel was the fact that she is a Muslim character, which had a lot of people up in arms back in the day. But recently, it's been this inspirational thing for a lot of women, which has been amazing.
Right, and with the avenue and the medium of a TV show that allows so many different things, like I grant you it's probably way too raw for Disney, but could you imagine them touching on like a mosque shooting, but with Miss Marvel? That would be wonderful, in my opinion.
I feel like Disney would be too scared to, but the idea of it seems like a really good idea. I know in an issue of Champions they dealt with a shooting and it kind of shook the entire team sort of in the same way, but I do think the idea some of these things do need to be tackled. I know one of the other shows that's coming to Disney Plus, which is Falcon and Winter Soldier, is definitely going to be dealing with a lot of racial tensions and stuff like that because of the whole theme being that the world doesn't want Sam to be Captain America. So
yeah,
that will be something that Disney has to tackle with, but I don't know if they want to do that for Ms. Marvel.
Yeah, that does make sense. They might stick to that being the female empowerment part and leave the ethnicity part of it for later.
I mean, there'll definitely be some things that talk about like Muslim heritage and stuff like that which will be definitely beneficial. But I feel like the more dangerous stuff they'll try to avoid for the sake of not hitting controversial crap, which is fine by every stretch of the imagination. It's totally fine.
Right.
And then everyone was freaking out on my timeline. Black Twitter was losing their shit because Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is getting its own TV animated TV show on Disney Channel. And I was like, okay, it kind of bugs me that her comic just got canceled when you're gonna launch a TV show, but
yeah, that is a bit strange.
And I mean, granted, if you're gonna make a TV show out of any character, Moon Girl is definitely a great one because the fact of her being so science and technology based for for young kids to get into in terms of STEM stuff. So good on you for following through with what Scholastic Book Fairs have been doing with her trades. But did you have to cancel the book? Which they'll probably relaunch it before the show comes out, but did you have to cancel the book when it's been doing so much good sales for you?
Yeah, that kind of didn't make no sense to me. But it also could be a move to where they choke the content, you know what I mean? Because now that there's no Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur comic, now you have to have Disney Plus to watch it.
That's a good point. Wow.
Yeah, that's the only reason I can see that they would cancel something that's doing well.
That's a
yeah.
Wow. I didn't even. Okay. Wow. You blew my mind there.
Well, it's similar to what Nintendo did with Amiibos when they first came out. How they released a small amount and then everyone just got hungry and vicious for them, and then they just
the Amiibo
sold out as soon as they hit the shelves every time.
I still see Luigi and Marth Amiibos at the thrift store, and I'm just like, you poor things.
Right.
It's so tragic what's happened to you, my children. But hopefully Moon Girl Dinosaur ends up being really good. I like the animation style of the promo art, so hopefully it ends up following through and being very good compared to what Marvel's been pushing in terms of animation as of late. Because not only did that carry into the Marvel Rising movies, but also the current SpiderMan show that just is god awful. So hopefully we get some good stuff. And from there, we had the Black Widow movie that like we had that they had a whole panel that showed off the big old poster of like the first big thing that showed off Black Widow's suit with gold wrist plates and a gold belt buckle, and everyone was losing their shit. And David K. Harbour is shown as Red Guardian, so that had people going, "Oh my god, oh my god." I'm still hesitant at at the idea of a Black Widow movie this late in the game after she's already been killed. So, I don't know. What do you think about the idea of this?
I'm a little on edge just because I'm not sure what we're gonna get. You know what I mean? I know ScarJo, as far as the MCU and like continuity is concerned, is gone, but I'm on my toes because they got Russian Captain America and Red Guardian, and then Taskmaster,
whose suit ain't looking too hot.
Yeah, so I mean, if they're gonna do that to his suit, he better be coming out with the flashiest moves possible. Because Taskmaster's a team buster. You know what I mean? So just to have him against one hero is, I'm a little on edge because it feels like they watered him down. If that makes any sense.
It's definitely concerning because it does feel like that. Him roll because there was behind the scenes photos a while back where like Taskmaster is just rolling through town in a tank. And I'm like, that's not something he would do, guys. Like, he'd roll through town with a rocket launcher and square up with ScarJo. He wouldn't just ride in a tank.
Right, and I mean, as far as like Taskmaster's history is concerned, in my honest opinion, Marvel kind of jobs him enough. If that makes any sense. Like, he'll be coming out swinging, giving everybody hard times, and then suddenly he's relegated to a measuring stick later on.
Yep, that's very true. Because he'll go from like A-list to D-list in a heartbeat, and it's very strange. He's one of the only characters at Marvel that really does that so fast as him, where he springs like back and forth so quickly.
Yeah, and the only time I remember seeing that in any other Marvel comic book character is like Bullseye.
Oh, Bullseye.
Oh, Bullseye.
You've been done so wrong over the years.
Yeah, Matt Murdock did him the dirtiest anyone can be done in comics, like, ever.
Thankfully, in Daredevil Season 3, we got a decent interpretation of Bullseye, but the old Ben Affleck movie did that man dirty.
Super dirty. Super dirty.
It's like, I have a burned bullseye on my forehead because I'm edgy. Like,
right. One guy wants to play darts, so I'm going to throw paper clips into his neck.
It's like, you're cool.
Right.
And then everyone's freaking out about Falcon and Winter Soldier, which I'm freaking out about because I'm not okay with this, because they showed the poster. And it now, granted, it does have Sam in more of a red and white version of his suit, and Bucky cut his hair, and I'm excited. But then Anthony Mackie opened his mouth at D23 when someone asked him, "Hey, are they like changing the title of the show? Like, you're supposed to be getting the shield. What's going on? You already had a magazine cover of you wearing the shirt, and like you said in an interview you had a fitting for your suit. Like, what's going on?" And he goes, "I am Falcon. I will always be known as Falcon." I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Man, they better not host Sam Wilson.
Like, that was already my fear with the idea of him and Bucky just getting a TV show. I'm like, why are you just getting a TV show? Why aren't they announcing a movie? Like, what?
That feels dirty, I'll be honest with you.
I'm very worried.
I'm a little salty about that because they made a whole thing about it in Endgame where it was, all right, you guys, are you ready for black people and women? And like, oh, yes, yes. And then this is, don't get me wrong, I'm going to watch the hell out of this show, but he deserves a movie.
He does. I'm very worried. I'm very worried, and I don't want him to be disrespected just because of this stupid shit. And, like, I'm just... Maybe he's just playing fast and loose and trying to cover up mistakes and whatnot. And, like, there's still the possibility of a Captain America 4 or at least a Captain America Sam movie. Like, if they just go, okay, this is a mini-series, it's one season, he gets the shield, and we're done. Like, okay, cool, that's fine. But I'm worried.
Yeah. I'm sweating for Sam, man.
I just want you to be respected, my dude. Is that so wrong? And from there, so hopefully that's good. From there, yesterday we got the announcement of Kevin Feige brought Ryan Coogler up on stage and announced that Black Panther 2's coming, everybody, which we already knew that was gonna be a thing. Like, now you just confirmed it for everybody who was scared it wasn't going to happen.
Right.
Like, not only did this movie become the highest grossing Marvel movie for a few months until Infinity War and Endgame came out, but it's Oscar nominated. You are going to get a sequel.
Right.
So, yay. It's official. It's coming in 2022, which I'm surprised it's taking that long.
It kind of leads to the question of what kind of crazy stuff are they about to do with Wakanda?
I'm wondering because, like, we talked about it on Blur Grounds, there's a lot of open-ended things left for the future of T'Challa, but at the same time, it's like, why are you waiting that long? What could you be cooking that could be that long in development? And also, like, is Blade coming before or after Black Panther 2? Because you announced Blade before this, so where's Blade, Feige? I don't know. Well, like, are you excited about this happening?
I'm excited about Black Panther 2, but like you said, I'm not sure what's gonna happen in Wakanda. Also, there's the whole notion that it's a side note, but I just thought about it, is that they lost the Oscar to Green Book, right? Yep. And then they straight up called Mahershala Ali and was like, hey, you want to be Blade? All right, so we have the actors. Let's do all the Oscars now.
It's like we are the Oscar now.
Right, it's ours now. We're the captains now.
Oh Lord. I mean, it's a good point.
I'm not certain, or I can't even speculate, and I guess that's why I'm nervous about what's going to happen in Wakanda. With everything that's been going on as far as the business side of these movies goes, I'm not even sure what's going on with Phase 4 since the whole SpiderMan thing.
Yeah, that was something that had everyone all sweating bullets all weekend, because Tom Holland's over at D23, and he's going, hey guys, I appreciate all your support. I can't really talk about it, but I appreciate your support. And I'm like, oh, you poor thing. You poor thing.
Real life Peter Parker can't handle it.
Like, you feel bad for this cat because you don't want him to be suffering right now, but like, he has to be so overwhelmed by like the regular Avengers voicing their support for him. You have like all of the drama going on. Feige's probably sweating bullets along with him, trying to get things under control. This entire thing is just a hot mess.
Yeah, that's the truth. So, but the sad fact is it's all business, and no matter like how the fans are going to receive whatever compromise you can come up with, they care about their bottom line more than anything.
Which is so tragic. You think like, since like, you know, it did make plenty of money, you think they would have looked at like how Far From Home ended and went, yeah, this isn't like Amazing Spider-Man 2 where it kind of ended on a cliffhanger, but it wasn't like super tragic. We just ended this on the biggest freaking cliffhanger possible.
Yeah, and then now we're not going to get any more. And so it's like, what do we do? Like, that's a screeching halt if I've ever heard of one.
Mm-hmm. It's very concerning. It makes you wonder what's going to be going on with the future with Spider-Man. And everyone's like, he's just gonna go be in Venom, and I'm like, but why? Venom's already a train wreck.
Throwing good Spider-Man in a train wreck doesn't make it less of a train wreck.
And people get at me. I don't care. I talked about it on Living on the Edge. I didn't like Venom. I got it free with the purchase of a pizza, and I still hated it. Like, it was not a good movie. It was a dumb romantic comedy.
That's so insane to me. I still haven't seen it, but the idea that it's a romantic comedy is so left field.
Because like Venom and Eddie are this thing, and it's weird, and I don't like it. And just ugh. But we are excited about Black Panther 2, so yay. And then we go from there into, they started announcing things for WandaVision, the dumbest TV show name ever. And I'm and like apparently, so we got the news that for both for Captain America, not Jesus God, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and for WandaVision, that where is his name? That where'd it go? I had it in my notes. They cast, for the record, they cast U.S. Agent, and he's going to be played by Wyatt Russell, which, the only thing I remembered him being in was he was Channing Tatum's, like, bro friend, like his boyfriend in 22 Jump Street. So if anyone remembers that was a thing. He's going to be...
Zook?
Yeah, Zook. Zook is going to be playing U.S. Agent, which I hopefully he has matured and has done great things for him to come in and be like this super hardcore government body Captain America. And like, I don't know why he's in WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, but hopefully that pans out as good of results. And like, apparently the girl who plays Darcy in Thor is gonna be in WandaVision too. And I'm like, who allowed this? Who told Kat Dennings to come out the cut and be in another property? Which, like, to her credit, she wasn't the worst thing to ever happen to Thor, but I know a lot of people don't like her, so I'm just like, okay. Okay. And, like, I like, do you like Kat Dennings, Travis?
I do, but when I think of her in the MCU, it's like, what have you been doing? What have you done?
Not a damn thing since Thor 2.
Right. You're Jane Foster's chair guy. You should be over there in Love and Thunder.
Yeah. So, like, it's very weird, and I don't understand what's going on. But I'm just defeated with this because like apparently they're mixing Tom King's vision and a bunch of other stories and trying to make this weird 50s style sitcom where Wanda's trying to bend reality to have Vision back, but also other things are happening. We're like getting U.S. Agent and Monica Rambeau and Kat Dennings, and I'm just like, what's going on?
A lot of stuff, apparently. I'm looking at the IMDb cast list, and wow.
Which, this could be a cool way to have some cool, like, Marvel what-ifs, but we're already getting a Marvel what-if show!
Right?
Like, the first episode of the show is, like, Peggy Carter becomes Captain Britain instead of Captain America.
Okay.
And like she like it shows her with a British version of the Shield, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. I guess.
Is that going to be their bridge into the X-Men or something? Because
that'd be kind of
man.
Cool. That would be kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie.
It's like, when I think Captain Britain, I don't think Avengers, man. I think X-Men.
It's like Psylocke? No.
Right. Like. Honestly, though, like, as far as WandaVision's concerned, maybe this is the only time I'll say it, but I really hope they adapt Tom King's parts into their story.
Gasp!
Well, I liked his run on the Vision. Like, I almost cried when Wanda was in his face going, "You're a damn toaster!"
Yeah.
Also, I laughed because Vision was just so inept at social structures that he's like, Wanda, perhaps it is my volume why you don't understand. What good will come of this lie? And I need Paul Bettany to do that whole scene. I need them both to do that scene.
Like I'm at a loss here because, and like, now granted they did say that Aaron Taylor Johnson is going to reprise his role as Pietro, which, thank God, the real Quicksilver is returning. Like, ever since Joss Whedon killed him, I've just been like, I want the real Quicksilver back, not this piece of crap in the X-Men movies.
Hey, the X-Men movies was good, but he was Wally West. Let's be honest.
Yes. Like, you hit the nail on the motherfucking head. He was Wally West. He was not Pietro Maximoff.
Not at all. He was way too fun.
he wasn't obsessed with his sister to the point of incest enough.
Oh. Pietro, why?
Specifically, Ultimate Pietro Y.
Right.
Like, I'm ever since Avengers: Age of Ultron, when they're just like, you can't have a good Pietro, I'm just like, no. And then Sweet Dreams comes on. I'm like, no, you go away. You're not the real one. I'm like, okay, you're back. That's good. But also Monica Rambeau's here. But also Kat Dennings is here. And I'm like, what is this show? And then everyone's all excited because Wanda's headdress is shown in the shadow of the background of the image. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. But like, they're still calling the show WandaVision and not like Scarlet Vision or something clever like that. Like, we have not heard her be called Scarlet Witch one time in the entire span of her being in these movies, besides maybe a toy box. So, what are we doing?
That is pretty rough, because they really don't call her Scarlet Witch ever.
Like, at all. Like, she's just been Wanda. Like, is that your code name? Wanda? Maybe.
Right, and with the name being, it feels like it's supposed to be, Wanda and the Vision centered, but with this cast, it almost feels like, how do I say, like all those characters that the Marvel fans wanted throughout the MCU years, just a potluck of those characters.
It's like, everybody go over here and be in the weird show.
Right. Monica was kind of in Captain Marvel, so we're going to make her for sure in WandaVision.
Why can't she just get her own movie or, like, put her in Ultimates? No! WandaVision! But WandaVision! But WandaVision! Like, that's how it feels. Like, it just feels like Feige's, like, every time I say but, he just goes WandaVision, and it's frustrating.
You get no answers with all of your valid questions.
Yes! It's like, can I get Pietro back? WandaVision! Can I get Monica Rambeau by herself? WandaVision! I mean, my hope is that the show is decent, but I'm still concerned because it just feels like Travis just said, a potluck of weirdness. But hopefully it's something good. If they're smart, they'll take the cues from Tom King's vision because, like I've said multiple times, Tom King is good when he writes small characters, and that's what Tom King did with Vision. So if you want something smart, you'll copy his vision. His vision. Ah!
Woof.
Anyway, the other big announcement that had everybody freaking out was that the King of the North came down from the heavens and said, I'm gonna be in a Marvel movie. And for 24 hours, everyone's like, oh, he's gonna be Wolverine, guys! And I'm just like, it's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. And the thing is, I haven't really been vocal about it. I called this. The minute I saw my Twitter feed say Kit Harington was gonna be in a Marvel movie, I was like, he'd be a really good Black Knight. And then not only was I right, he's being put in the weirdest freaking place as the Black Knight. He's being put in not in like something like WandaVision, where like, okay, maybe the Black Knight makes sense. Like, oh, he gets sent back to like they get sent back to medieval times, and they see Kit Harington. No, he's being put in Eternals, which makes no sense.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
Now, why is that crazy to you, good sir?
Isn't Eternals supposed to be Marvel's, like, new gods?
Yes, they're like both things were created by Jack Kirby. The Eternals was their version of as like these super powerful beings that that were like the last hope for humanity against the cosmic deities and whatnot. And my first thought when Eternals was first announced, I was like, this could have been something else, but you fucked up. This could have been what Inhumans was supposed to be, but you fucked up and gave it over to the TV side. Like, there was all these plans of like an Inhumans franchise, and then you go, you know what? We'll just pick up the Jack Kirby book and go make Eternals. And I'm like, okay, I guess.
Really, guys? Really, guys?
If this will make you happy. Okay, but I know this isn't what you really wanted to do.
Like, I guess why it's wild for me is it's like, okay, don't get me wrong, I love Kit Harington and Jon Snow and all that. That's why we were talking about it earlier. I'm so happy that his career is not fizzling out in Game of Thrones, as I fear a few other actors and actresses are. Mm-hmm. But on that same hand, like, if there was any Marvel character other than Swordsman, it would have been Black Knight.
Ooh, him as Swordsman would have been great for Hawkeye. Oh my god! That is genius!
I thought, that's what I thought when he said it. I was like, Swordsman? But then they're like, he's in the Eternals. I'm like, well, I got nothing.
Yeah, and like, because Black Knight is like a descendant of the original Black Knight, and he finds his his ancestors' gear and becomes this like villain for a while, and then becomes a hero. How are you gonna put him in this cosmic universe bending thing called the Eternals? And the quickest answer that Travis said before we started today was they're probably going to reinvent him. And I'm just like, but I don't want that.
Well, I mean, think about it. Like, I know it's not comparable as far as the movie's concerned, but like Steppenwolf in the DC movie in Justice League. But I mean, Steppenwolf doesn't have much to go off of, so they kind of just did what they wanted. Actually, that's exactly what they did. And maybe they'll have something better for Black Knight in the Eternals, but I'm not sure how they can connect him to people like Makari, for example.
Why couldn't it just be Darkseid? Why?
Because they wanted Darkseid later, but didn't realize that they could have really ruined it early.
You fucked up. Side tangent. When they first even announced, and first of all, this is not me defending the idea of a Snyder Cut. So all you people can go. I'm not starting this now. This is me defending one point of your argument, and that's it. So don't even start with me. First of all, that's the first thing. Second of all, I am just like, why couldn't you just take the new 52 Justice League origin comic and just have Darkseid there for like 10 minutes and be done? Like, it would have been so simple, but you chose to make it complicated. Like, you could have had Steppenwolf and Calabac be like his frontmans, even though they weren't in the original comic, and then you could have had Darkseid show up for the final battle. But you didn't do that, and you ruined it. That's my take.
Yeah. I mean, they really messed up when they showed us, what happens when Darkseid gets to Earth, and now we're all like, ooh, 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 and it never happened. Just, no. Stop, y'all.
Yeah, it was... that movie gives me a headache, but I still love it to death. I still love the final product of what we got, and it's on my shelf, and I don't care what anyone says. But also, I have my problems with it, like the fact that it should have been Darkseid. But anyway, Dead by Daylight. Okay. And then we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping up, and yeah, that's pretty much all the major highlights. There's probably a few couple things we missed. There was the big announcement that we're finally getting a black character lead in a Pixar movie, which is really cool. But we will probably save that talk for next week for our other podcast, Blurred Grounds. So we are going to go ahead and wrap up, and we are going to begin the new tradition of our new transition towards being solely on like audio services like iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and Stitcher Radio, which will be starting next week, and we're going to be recommending books that are coming out next Wednesday. So, Travis, what is a book that you would like to recommend that's coming out next Wednesday for people to go pick up at their local comic book shop?
Superman Batman 1.
Really?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Really?
I admit I'm a fanboy when those two come together. They do great things. So after, how long has it been? It's been a couple of years since we've seen a Superman Batman publication. And this is the continuation of Scott Snyder's Bat Who Laughs. So with the title being The Secret Six, I'm really curious to see if that's what they're going to tackle with the Superman Batman, is a dark multiverse Secret Six.
Okay, that's not what I was expecting.
So good.
No, that is not what I was expecting you to nominate. Okay. I'm actually impressed. You have officially caught me off guard, good sir. Wow. I'm like, okay, well then I will nominate what you should have nominated. the better Batman book. Now, granted, I love Scott Snyder, I love him to death, and I love Joshua Williamson, but the better Batman book that's coming out this week is Batman Curse the White Knight #2, and also I will also nominate Black Panther #15. So I nominated 2 books, but we are getting the continuation of this amazing series by Sean Gordon Murphy. This series has been kicking everybody's ass in terms of emotion and callbacks to old like Batman like stuff. It is amazing. I highly recommend it. I know Travis has been loving it. He's been reviewing it. You can't tell me I'm lying because you love it.
I do love it. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Okay.
But it does deserve a recommendation.
Okay.
I didn't think Superman Batman would throw you for that kind of a loop, man.
Because I'm staring at our list and I'm like, it's right there. Why didn't he recommend it? It's right there. And the other book that is coming out next week that I also want to recommend is Black Panther #15, because it is like the sort of the prelude to the end of Space Wakandans, the saga, which has been building up to this big confrontation between Bast's chosen from the alien Wakandans that was taken over by a symbiote, and T'Challa that are gonna have their final battle soon. It's been this epic thing ever since last year when it's not all new, all different Marvel, and it's not Marvel Legacy, it's Marvel Fresh Start. I'm terribly sorry, because Marvel has another freaking relaunch every 5 minutes. When Marvel Fresh Start started, we had the relaunch of Ta-Nehisi Coates series, and it's been amazing ever since it relaunched. So I highly recommend you guys pick that up this Wednesday. So, Travis, what is your closing statement for issue #15? Black Panther #15 comes out next week, and we're at issue 15. That's awesome.
Nice. My closing statement would be keep up on this Year of the Villain stuff in DC, because everyone's making big moves, it seems.
You are not wrong.
Without spoiling it, just if you see the Year of the Villain on it, just pick it up. Do yourself a favor.
Oh, and also, the other thing that I needed to recommend for next week is Justice League #30, because things happen and amazing things occur, and even Scott Snyder, the writer, is saying on Twitter that if you buy any book from his run, this issue is the one that you need to pick up. So definitely give this a look next week when it drops. Okay, and my closing statement will, as always, be support your local comic book shop. Big things are happening in comics. While we do have our conflictions, like our conflict with certain things that are going on, we are very happy with the things that are going on in certain aspects. And there's amazing books that are coming out every single week. So definitely check that out. Don't forget to follow this podcast on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, and Google Play. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at I almost said Living on the Edge is Twitter, PTP_podcast. Don't forget to follow the website On Comics Ground on Twitter and Instagram at On Comics Ground, and check out our website every single day for amazing reviews, previews, and op-eds about comic books and nerd culture. We will catch you folks next time right here on Panel to Panel. Peace out.